In this video, I wanted to talk about something that I never have heard of before. And I hate to invent stuff because I'm pretty sure, inventing the wheel is a bit hard to do, but I call it deconstructional drawing. So I've talked about things before like construction. And construction usually involves looking at something like this flower. This photo is by, Seth Ossibel. I apologize for that. And of course, it hit all of that. So this photo is by Seth Ossibel, and basically, it's of a flower, if you can't tell, which I'm sure you can tell. And basically, this flower, I took it apart, or not took it apart. I built it to the side in a drawing form with simpler things to build it. This involves things like shape, ellipses, and gestural lines. I don't know the anatomy of flowers yet. I mean, I have to learn about them more, I'm gonna be honest. Bit of a knowledge gap there. But I know like it has petals. I'm not sure what the center thing is. But I know it I know it has pollen on it. I know stems, pistils, or I don't know, something like that. And basically, the point I'm trying to say here is that you have all of these things that you do when you initially do the drawing in a constructional way. So, construction and gesture. Construction and gesture, doing it, I have to say, when you do that enough, you'll get an understanding. And basically, an understanding is not a pretty drawing. Most people want to do a pretty drawing, not just a drawing that understands, or just not an understanding for yourself. The other things I left out the detail, so and this all falls under the realm of constructional. So, sorry, the title's a little bit in the way. Most people want to do an actual pretty drawing. So, if you're dealing with physical media, what you can do is you could reference your thing at the side. Now, cautious on this, because most people will never recommend drawing from a drawing. And I think in that instance, in which you're using your constructional and gesture drawing because you have an understanding, you can do that, but maybe even better is to look at your actual reference. Like, you refer to both. You refer to the actual reference, whether it be a real life reference or a photo, and you reference your constructional. The idea, I mean, you could even go over your constructional and gestural drawing on a new layer. In this instance, I'm using digital. But if you were to say, if you're using another type of medium, I mean, they do have things like transfer paper. You could just do the drawing again and try to maintain a consistency. It all depends what you want to do, or you could just start from scratch and try to get the main things, because now you have an understanding. There were some things I missed. On the petals especially, they kind of curve, so you kind of have this ribbon effect. They're kind of like leaves. If you ever looked at a leaf, they tend to ribbon out, is what I'll call it. Like, if you ever look at a ribbon in a drawing sense, you have these things that kind of weave in and out of 3D space. And you can tell by the twisting of the petals, you have some of that. Like, it's more significant on this petal, if you can see my mouse over here, on this petal here. I didn't say this before. This app I'm using, I made it myself. It's free. It's called Thumbtastic. You could find it in the description. But on this petal, it curves around, much like a ribbon would do. And it kind of does that. It's actually fun to actually draw. And the other important thing is all of these things attach to the main stem. You can't always see it because it's like under it, so it's like, you know, they're all coming from somewhere. And I also showed the attachments by kind of going over it one more time to show how they wrap around the stem. So if you wanted to do what I call deconstruction, well, deconstruction falls into a bit of a different realm. You still use your original reference, plus you use your understanding over here, which is a result of your constructional and gesture drawing. I should have put drawing underneath, but you get the point. And I think everything's a unique case, so the tools of constructional drawing and the tools of gestural drawing are so incredibly important. I should also touch upon what I mean by gestural. Gesture is... I tend to think of gesture as like the thing, the essence of the thing, whether you're using straight lines, C curves or a variation, S curves or a variation, ellipses of varying degrees, could even be a straight line in some instances, or like a shape, like, you know, like a petal, for instance. That's what I mean by gestural. It falls into, it's a bit difficult to understand unless you've done a lot of gesture drawing. Maybe I'll have to make another video on that someday. But deconstructional drawing, and I forgot the G over here. Okay, so you have your original and your reference, and your understanding reference. And you can use that in your deconstructional drawing. So you're taking everything you've learned and you're applying it to something that you actually want to draw to get a pretty drawing. Well, I have to say it depends on a lot of experience. So I guess I should also say plus experience. And your experience. And the other thing is I left out a texture. You know, that's up to you what you want to do. So I guess it's kind of optional whether you wanted to also do a textural study. I mean, then there's color. There's a lot of other factors here. So I'm just going to lump that in under experience. And with that, you'll get, well, you'll get a drawing more close to the reality. So I will say like a drawing. But even then, it depends what you want to do. If you're trying to draw realism or if you're trying to do something in your own artistic form. I'm not saying the whole purpose of drawing and art is to get as close to reality as possible. I'm just talking about in the sense of trying to get your traditional drawing skills up. So you'll get something closer to reality if that's what you're aiming for. I suggest you try it at least once. I think it can be helpful. The other thing is I left out a lot of the texture. The texture of the individual things are made of lines, so it does become a bit challenging unless you're observing things very closely. Because you could just go into this. I need a lot more experience with texture and understanding it more and to do more texture studies. That's actually something I left out. Sometimes I'll put it over, I'll put it at the top over here. I also call it constructional texture. So like I'll say texture study. It's not just the light and shadow, it's also the thing, like there are bumps to the thing. It's something you could feel. Texture is something you can feel, not just well, it does have light and shadow affected by it too. But like I said, it kind of goes like into all these different directions. I'll probably have to touch upon this topic again, but I just had to make this video. I just had this video in my mind and I had to get it in video form so I could share it with the world, even though I'm not a professional yet. I hope to be one day, but when I do, I'll probably touch upon this topic again in a better form. But thank you very much for listening to me. I hope I covered all the main things that I wanted to. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. If you like the video, please like it. And if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. And thanks again to Seth Ossibel for the photo of the flower. Bye.